Hello guys, Mike here at Rockets Productions, and today is a pretty interesting video for me. It's basically going to be split into two parts. So the last video I put up was my Jurassic World pictures, and as you could see, the computer was popping, clicking. I was basically out of work, which really sucked. The solution to that problem was that I bought a new Mac. So I bought the 2013, like the trash can on the cylinder, Mac Pro if you want to call it that. I went for a 12 core with 64 gigs of RAM. And the middle graphics card, the D500, purely because that is, if you look at the current spec, that's the one that Apple kind of start at, so I figured why go lower. So far it's been amazing, it's working very well. You may notice that this room is slightly different. That is because I have finally moved, and the second part of the video is going to be kind of giving you a little bit of a tour around my new space. I'm loving it. I'm finally starting to settle in. I've done a couple of pictures here already. They're doing very well. The room needs a bit of treating, but I'll come into that in the second part of the video. So basically, without me rambling on too much, I'm going to show you the first part, which talks about the kind of the spec I'm now running and the process I went through, I suppose, to create the new setup. We're still using Vienna Ensemble Pro, and we're still using Logic, and I've gone back to Pro Tools, which some people might be interested to look at. I know some of my followers here were kind of a bit gutted when I went over to Logic. I'll still be using Logic, but I have renewed my Pro Tools subscription. Now I've got the new system and it seems to be working much better. So yeah, first part, computers, second part, new setup. I'll see you in a bit. Today is the 21st of August 2018, and today's a pretty big day for both myself and Aurora Eclipse Productions because it is Mac Pro upgrade day, and it's the first time I've ever used one of these control-y selfie stick things. So this is my iPhone on a pretty cool extension pole. I do like it. So anyone who's been following my blog since kind of day one will know that this is my current setup, which is a 2010 Mac Pro quad core with 32 gigs of RAM. We also have a Mac Mini 2014 dual core with 8 gigs of RAM, and we're basically going to be moving to this bad boy, which is a Mac Pro 6.1 with 64 gigs of RAM and 12 cores. So essentially the idea is that the Mac Mini is going to get retired, and then the Mac Pro is going to act as the slave, as the Mac Mini once did. So I'm currently in the painstaking process of basically backing up both systems so I can try to kind of get them set up in exactly the same way as always did, but there is going to be some changes in the way the VE Pro works. So I wanted to do just a quick video to document basically what I'm up to. So in terms of mixing equipment, if you like, or like my interface, I'm staying with the Onyx 1620i for the moment. That runs via Firewire, so we had to get some converters from Apple, as they're famous for. So we've got right there, that is a Thunderbolt to Firewire adapter. Then we've got a mini display port to DVI, which is going to basically power this monitor. This one I'm going to connect via HDMI. That one I'm going to then connect via another mini display port. And when I move to my next studio, which will be the end of next month, that's going to act as a fourth screen. So that'll be at the top there. So another thing you're going to need if you're doing this sort of setup, mind the cables, Mike, is that box there. Can we see my finger pointing at it? There. That is like an active DVI adapter, so it's basically exactly the same as that bad boy there, but it's got a USB port on it as well, so it basically can power the monitor, because although that's got dual D500 graphics cards in it, powering 4 screens just off the bus is simply just not enough. So what I'm going to basically do, here we have two 1TB SSDs, and these are some caddies which I bought from a company called, I believe it's Tech. I don't know if you can see that on that Tech. They're about probably 15 quid each. And then we've got a 3.5 inch caddy also from Tech. So basically inside there I've got a 256 SSD, which is just going to run Logic and my basic system. Then we got a couple of terabytes there, and the 1TB or 2TB even standard drive. So most of the samples and the project files will go on them, and then that's going to be used as almost like a backup, and like video files, things like that, archives. So they'll go through these caddies into USB 3. So on the back of the Mac Pro here, we've got 6 Thunderbolts, and then we've got 4 USB 3 ports, and there's the HDMI port on there as well, which is that one just there. I'm also going to be using, as I said, the Mac Pro Tower which will kind of probably run a lot of my East West stuff, stuff that's not kind of go to every day, or libraries that are kind of not so much old, but just more legacy stuff. I'm going to put on there and keep my keep this system as my kind of main DAW, and any kind of mixing and mastering will be going on there. So if I do find that some plugins, especially the Metropolis Arc stuff, some of the East West stuff, which is quite CPU intensive, is eating into my system, then I'll just throw it onto the other system and get going. So there you go, guys. I hope that's useful. I'm just in the process of doing this backup now, and then I'm going to start setting it up, and I'll follow on a little later on, probably in this same video, with how I got on. So see you soon. Bye. Hello again, guys. So we're a good 3 hours into this now. So we've got the 2 external hard drives plugged into the old Mac Tower. I'm currently copying all my sample libraries of my work, all that sort of stuff onto those drives. So that should take another sort of 2-3 hours. We're using USB 2. And then this side of the room, we've got the Mac Pro plugged in via HDMI. And basically we're just updating to High Sierra. And then I'm going to migrate the Time Machine backup, which is now complete, onto the Mac, because I'm lazy now and just can't be asked. I was going to basically just set them up as new, but I think it'll just take forever. So we've got Time Machine happening here. That's from the old Mac Mini, so that will eventually be reinstalled onto the Mac Tower. But yeah, we've got to wait for all these files to copy, and it's just past midnight. So I think I'm going to go to sleep and let it do its thing and continue tomorrow. Hello guys, so it's now the next day, so the 22nd now, and I am 14 minutes away from getting myself set up. So I'm just transferring all the data across. I am very excited, let's just say that, very, very excited. Okay guys, so I guess this is the Raw Eclipse Productions version 4. This is the 4th studio that I've built. I've added another monitor, but not really much has changed to the setup besides that. And the new computer, which I'm basically keeping behind there. Figured it's a good little hiding place for it. It's tiny. Still using the old Mac Pro. So this is pretty much my new setup, if you like, my new home. It needs a little bit of treatment, especially behind the speakers there, and the ceilings are quite high, which benefits me a bit. But it does the bass. It needs some treatment for the bass and bass traps. So I'm going to get those put in. I've also added my old record player with these solid speakers. They are amazing, and it gives me a really good perspective of my mixes basically, alongside the HomePod. So we've still got the HomePod, then we've got the stereo mixer there as well, or the amplifier, and then of course the monitors. So I've got 3 monitoring positions basically now in the room. If I spin you around this way, the old books and printers and stuff, and I've actually got somewhere to actually sit and chill. So directors, musicians can sit there and play guitar, play violin, watch the film. Of course, Mother Jennifer Lawrence had to go up. That is probably the bestest addition that I could put into my room, is actually having a place for people to sit. I think it's quite important that if you want to come and demo your track to someone, that they actually can sit down and listen to it, as opposed to be crammed at a chair like it was before in my last place. We'd all be kind of sitting at the computer looking at the screen, which has a place as well, but that addition of that screen really helps out for that, because I can just put a filmmaker's film up there, and they don't get kind of taken away by looking at all this stuff. I've also gone to Vienna Ensemble Pro 6 from 5. And as you may have noticed, for the eagle eyes of you out there, we're back in Pro Tools. So I'm using a lot more of the Slate Digital plugins for kind of mastering, alongside a bit of T-Rax. So I got a bit of T-Rax there. This is like a current personal project that I'm doing for a concept album, which I'll reveal a little later on. So this is how it looks basically during the day. You will see me from that camera in the future, as I kind of did before in my last place. Mostly it'll probably be at night, but I've got a good internet connection here, so I can do live streams if people wanted to see me kind of actually composing live, or mixing live, or answering questions live. There is scope for that in the future, should there be call for it. But yeah, I'm very happy. I'm settling in very well, so I just wanted to give you a quick little look around the studio. and I hope to see you in the next video. As always, thank you for all the subscribers, both new and old, current people who've kind of come and found me, and the ones who've been there since day one. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to keep the conversation going on here. I will see you guys soon. Bye bye.